moment, I'm going to show you guys how to record an acoustic instrument, and I've chosen the acoustic guitar. So for this setup, I'm using 3 microphones, as you can see here. I'll talk a little about how it's set up very shortly. First off, I ensure that the guitar is tuned. It's very important that you tune it before playing, and I have a tuner here, Snark guitar tuner. There's also an onboard guitar tuner, and also you should try and ensure that the strings are as fresh as possible. Once you're done with that, you have to set the mics up, and this is how I've chosen to set it up for this particular recording. I have an SE4400A. This is a large diaphragm condenser mic. So I've placed this right at the sound hole of the guitar. So this will capture the body and the tone of the instrument, and it will also give a very warm sound. The settings I've used are, I've set it to pick up the sound in a cardioid pattern. That means it's just going to pick up what's around it. And I've also added a filter to remove all a little of the low frequencies. And you could also add a pad which attenuates the signal by either 10 decibels or 20 decibels, but I've chosen not to because for this performance it's not going to be very heavy. This is one mic, and the other mics which you see here are the matched pair condenser mics. This is the Rode NT5 matched pair, and the way I've set it is a bit far away. I think it's about 3.5 feet away from the sound hole, and I usually prefer to use a measuring tape while calculating this distance. The reason why I do that is to ensure that there's no phase problems between the two microphones. And this will result in the audio not sounding too great after you record the instrument. So depending on your song, I would sometimes bring those mics maybe near the frets to capture a more brighter sound, or I would move it a bit back to capture the ambience of the room, which I intend to do in this recording. So the way I've connected this, coming to that, there's an XLR cable going out from each of these 3 condenser mics, and that will go into my sound card or audio interface. The audio interface I'm using for this recording is the Mbox Pro, which gives me 4 microphone preamps. So this is the setup, and on the microphone preamp I will need to switch on the 48 volt phantom power button. The reason you'll have to do that is so that these microphones get power to run. And that's about it. So let's now move on to the computer, and I'm going to get one of my friends here, Anish, to just play the guitar while I set up the mics and set up everything for recording. Cool, so we are now here in Pro Tools, which is the software I use for recording. And the first thing I'll do is to set up 3 audio tracks, which will be 3 mono audio tracks. I'm just going to give it a name here: Guitar SE, Guitar L, Guitar R. Again, these names don't really matter, you get the idea. Now the SE Electronics mic is connected to my 3rd input, analog 3, which is what I'm choosing here. The L mic and the R mic are my NT5s. One of them is input 4 and the other one is input 1. Right? So what I then do is I'm going to open up the channel on my Mbox. I first turn on the mic preamp, and then I'm unmuting each channel. And then I would record enable each of these tracks. So I'm just going to get Anish to play a chord progression which we are going to use for this recording, and then I'm going to set the recording levels appropriately. Before I do that, a suggestion would always be to tell the artist who you're recording to play as loud as possible, so that even at the loudest signal, the sound is not clipping before it gets converted from analog to digital. So a good way to go about this is there's a meter on the Mbox Pro and most of the audio interfaces. Just make sure it does not go towards the red. The moment you hit red, it's clipped, and you cannot really rectify that later. Nothing can help you if you've recorded poorly. So I'm just going to ask him to keep playing, and I'm going to balance things out. Yeah, and it's always good to get as healthy a signal as possible. So I think I've done that, and as you'll see, even in Pro Tools, it's not clipping at all. In fact, I can probably go a bit louder. Cool. And once I'm ready to record, I just give him a click, give him a count off, and we're good to go. So hope you guys got an idea of what's going on. So just to recap, it starts with you needing to tune your instrument, getting good strings, and then setting up the mics in the right positions. Another thing which I didn't mention earlier was a microphone is nothing but a transducer. It converts one form of energy into the other form. So it's the acoustic energy which is being converted to the audio signal in the form of voltage that goes into your audio interface and then gets converted into digital signals which our computer can understand, which is zeros and ones, and that's the way the audio is sent to and fro. So in order to do that, I used 3 mics in this recording. I placed one at the sound hole, I placed the other 2 to capture the ambient sound. I ensured that that distance from the guitar was the same to avoid phasing. And when I came to the audio interface to record the instrument, I ensured that even at the highest, loudest possible level, it was not clipping, and I also ensured that I got a healthy signal level. So thanks for watching, and catch you soon. So to wind up, I'm just going to record something, and